The legendary alliance between the Gorkha soldier and the British military began with one of the most brutal conquests in Himalayan history. In the mid-18th century, the region was divided into 24 independent microstates known as the Chaubisi. King Prithvi Narayan Shah dissolved those borders through a series of relentless military campaigns. Between 1742 and 1775, he hammered these scattered territories into a single aggressive Gorkha empire. This unification created a hyper-militarized state that required constant growth to survive. To sustain its massive standing army, the Gorkha leadership began looking westward for new resources and land. The opening for that expansion arrived when a local political figure, Harshdev Joshi, invited the Gorkha army to invade the Kumaon region to settle an internal rivalry. The invasion was swift. By 1790, the Gorkhas crushed the local resistance at the Battle of Howelbog, marking the start of a 25-year military occupation. Their momentum only stalled when they reached Garhwal. Unable to take the territory by force, the Gorkhas settled for extracting a heavy annual tax from the Garhwali king. That stalemate ended in 1803, when a massive earthquake devastated the Himalayas. The disaster leveled Garhwal's fortresses and crippled its ability to defend its borders. The Gorkha military seized the opportunity, launching a second invasion and killing the Garhwali king at the Battle of Kerbera in 1804. By capitalizing on a local betrayal and a natural disaster, the Gorkhas had successfully erased the old mountain borders, bringing the entire region under absolute military rule. Local historians describe this era as Gorkhyali, a system of martial law where administrative authority was enforced by the blade of the kukri. Commanders used mass violence to maintain control. In one instance, Subedar Ajab Singh Khawas orchestrated the execution of 1,500 village heads to ensure total submission to Gorkha rule. This occupation designed its taxation system to extract every possible cent from the local population to fuel the requirements of the growing army. The Gorkhas imposed highly specific taxes on every facet of life, taxing weavers on their looms, Brahmins on their status, and even charging a Marin tax on any man who failed to produce a son. The Gorkha Empire functioned as a predatory machine that required constant expansion and extraction to maintain its military structure. The judicial system relied on Divya Pariksha, a series of divine tests used to establish guilt in place of evidence or witness testimony. These tests subjected suspects to physical torture, such as carrying a red-hot iron rod or plunging their hands into boiling oil to prove their innocence. In the Tarash Deep test, a suspect was weighed against stones at night. If their weight decreased by morning, the court declared them guilty. Decades of absolute control over the mountain populations led to a dangerous geopolitical overconfidence in the Gorkha leadership. Seeking more revenue, they pushed south and seized 200 villages in the Gorakhpur province. This territory belonged to the British East India Company. As this map of Hindustan shows, the mountain kingdom was now challenging an empire with vastly superior industrial resources. The Gorkhas had accidentally triggered a border war with the most powerful military force in the world. Lord Hastings declared war in late 1814, mobilizing a massive British force split into 4 columns to invade the Himalayas from multiple directions. The British expected a quick victory, but they were shocked by the ferocity of the Gorkhas at the fortress of Nalapani. Despite being outnumbered, Gorkha commanders inflicted heavy casualties on the British, even killing Major General Gillespie during the assault. Individual bravery could not overcome the reach of modern British artillery. The British used their superior firepower to systematically break the Gorkha strongholds, eventually capturing the fortress of Almora in 1815. With their supply lines cut and their fortresses falling, the Gorkha leadership was forced to surrender. The conflict ended with the Treaty of Sugali in 1816, a document that would fundamentally redefine the borders of South Asia. The treaty forced the Gorkhas to surrender all conquered territories west of the Kali River, pushing their borders back to the east. The British carved the region into new administrative zones, establishing the Terry princely state and absorbing the rest of Uttarakhand directly into the British Empire. Impressed by the ferocity of the soldiers they had just fought, the British included a clause in the treaty allowing them to recruit Gorkhas into the British Indian Army. The era of Gorkhyali military occupation ended, but its legacy was the creation of a legendary military partnership that continues to this day.